Hello everyone, Dr. Maiden here with another video for you. So this is one that I wanted to make sure I made really early in this process because it's something that is really essential to students to know the difference between a resume and a CV and why they should be building out a CV. So obviously the title of this video is How to Write an Academic CV. Okay, so I meet with students a lot that are asking for assistance, asking for advice, and sort of the two big areas would be things like, I want to study abroad or do an internship or do a grant and fellowship, and I want advice about that. Or the second thing would be like, I need a letter of recommendation. And in both cases, whether you're wanting to talk to me about internships, you need study abroad help, you're just looking at your general trajectory, you want to volunteer, you need a letter of recommendation. In all these cases, the first thing I will personally ask for, I'll say, send me your CV. So if you shoot me an email and you're asking, I want to come and see you and talk about this, or you show up in my office and say, do you have a second to talk about this? The first thing I'll say, send me a CV, okay? And in so many cases, the first thing a student will say is, you guys will look kind of confused and say, what is that, okay? So welcome to my vlog on what is / how to write an academic CV. So let's start with what is a CV. A CV is just a fancy word for resume, okay? In the Latins, it means curriculum vitae or course of life. And so we shorten that to CV, curriculum vitae, CV. A CV is different than a resume, in that as a course of life, it is much more detailed than a resume. A resume you might use to go and get a job at Longhorn Steakhouse or something, okay? So a resume, you are typically capping at 2 pages. For real, you do not need a resume longer than 2 pages for anything you're gonna be doing as an undergraduate or even graduate level, trying to get jobs outside of academia. 2 pages. No one's got time for anything longer, okay? And you'll only have a fairly set group of headings in a resume. So you're gonna have all of your typical education, work and internship experience. If you've got some type of special skills and training, it can be useful in this day and age to have languages that you speak and maybe references. It's pretty short. Most people know what goes into a resume. Any template anywhere on the internet, Word has templates, you can find a resume template, okay? With an academic CV, you are providing a lot more details. And there's so much, there's a reason for this. There is so much that goes on in academic life. There's so much expected from us in terms of classes, service to our departments, to our universities, conferences you could attend, clubs you could be in, presentations that you're doing. Maybe you're doing travel, you're doing field work, you've got publications that you're moving forward with, an undergraduate journal, or just in your personal life, you maybe publish a set of poetry online or something, right? There's so much that you could be doing that a resume doesn't cover. And so what I'm gonna do here first that might be helpful, I'm gonna link a couple examples of CVs down below. I'm gonna link mine. I'm gonna link a couple of other professors, some student versions of CVs that I used with permission, so that you can see kind of some of the differences. I'm actually gonna try and I'll link one that was my CV even while I was an undergrad student compared to my CV now, and you can see some of the changes as to how these things can grow from something that's 2 pages to something that can be 7 pages, 17 pages. My gosh, CVs can just get unwieldy. For an undergraduate, you're not going to be looking at a 17-page CV. My God, please don't do that. But the one thing I highly recommend here is Google us. Google your faculty members, whether you're here at UNF. You can look, a lot of us have personal web pages. It's often just our name, www.emilymaiden.com, and it has all of my research, my teaching, and my CV. So Google us, and I think something that's really useful is you'll see how much variety there is in terms of formatting, and you'll notice what you like and what you don't like, what looks good, and the big thing here is don't reinvent the wheel. So use a format that you like and just copy it, because a CV is a CV is a CV. Get a nice format you like and plug your own information into it. So I'm going to give you 4 tips here for how to write an academic CV. Tip number 1 is formatting. Formatting, okay? Make it easy to skim. Break each section apart clearly. Put space, but not too much space, between these different sections of the CV. Use bold. Bold is your friend. Bold different sections. Bold important things you want to stand out, okay? Just really focus on making it clean. There is an element here of design that's important. Clean, skimmable, very clear what each of the sections are. Formatting matters. Number 2, more is more. More is more. And that's why I say Google people. Look at how creative they can get at making the CV look more impressive, look more professional. So maybe in your case, you don't have any publications. You're not going to any undergraduate conferences. In fact, I'm sure most of you aren't. So do something savvy, like break up your work and your internship experiences into work experience, internship experience, right? Find ways to make it look like I am involved in more things across a variety of service, internships, work, teaching, etc. And again, see examples from current faculty, current grad students is another great place to look. Google some universities that have grad students and look at their CVs, because they're a little bit closer to what yours can look like. Tip number 3, and I'm really looking at freshmen here when I'm saying this, don't include anything from high school, okay? I'm sorry this can be especially tough for freshmen, because you guys can feel like I have nothing to put on a good CV, but you've got to scrap it. You've got to scrap your high school stuff. No one cares. No one cares that you were on the high school track team. No one cares that you were on the debate team or the Model UN in high school. You've got to scrap it and start over. So do not put anything. You can check the date of when you're starting your undergraduate career. The dates of everything else on your thing should be matching that date or further on past that date. And the last thing I'll say here in terms of formatting, or in terms of a tip, so formatting, more is more, get creative and make it look like you're more polished. Don't include anything from high school, number 3. Number 4 is a sort of a caveat here. You can include references. In a lot of cases, maybe you should include references on a CV. This is the caveat though. If you include references, and this is the number 4, you need to ask first and tell them you're doing it, okay? So do not just throw a faculty name onto your CV as a reference. Please don't do it to me. Don't just put my name on, ask me first. You need to approach me. You need to ask me if I'm comfortable with it. And in most cases, in my case, the first thing I'll say is, let me see it. Let me see your CV. And then what are you going to use it for? I want to know. In most cases, I'm not going to say, no, you can't use me as a reference, but I want to know. I want to be ready. Should someone call me, or should someone email or reach out and be wanting to ask about you and having me follow up with them, I want to have been prepped by you as to, well, what is this thing? Why do you think you're a good fit for it? Get me prepared so that I know what I'm doing. And you may think, oh, it'll never happen. They'll never follow up. And I'm here to tell you that in academia, they do. They do follow up. Universities will call, they will email, they will check up with these references. It's happened to me easily a half a dozen times where I have had my faculty references say, I just got a call from so-and-so, they were asking about you, right? It actually will happen. So if you put us down as references, check with us first, okay? So that's in general just what a CV is. Google is your best friend here. Google CVs. Google, even within, if you're a UNF student especially, UNF has a whole thing called faculty bio. Faculty bio is all of us, all the faculty listed in alphabetical order. And in most cases, you go to our bio page and we have links to our CVs there, or we have links to our personal websites. And from there, we have links to our CVs. So you don't have to trust mine. You don't have to take mine if you don't like it, but Google us. Google just CV in general, find a nice format that you like, and then follow those tips that I said. Format it nicely, more is more, make yourself look more professional, don't include anything from high school, and if you're going to include us as references, let us know and prep us, and let us have a copy of it so we're ready when it happens that we've got your CV and we're ready to go and go up to bat for you in whatever you're trying to pursue. Okay, again, if you have any questions, I'm going to link a few down below. Comment, ask questions. I'm happy to go into more detail here. I'm always happy to also review. If you're going forward for something and you want me to look at your CV and say, hey, Dr. Maiden, does this look okay? I'll look at it. Shoot me an email, walk by my office and let me see a hard copy of it. I'm happy to do that if you want to just have another set of eyes look at it before you would be sending it out anywhere. Okay, so good luck writing your CVs and let me know if you have any questions.